Hey there, welcome everybody. Welcome. So glad you have joined me for the live stream tonight. I'm excited because we are going to do a holiday themed live stream. Let me just get my other camera set up. Then we should be good to go. How's everybody's week? Feel free to say hello in the comments. Let me know how your week is going as I get this set up. I'll wait till it's up on the tripod so I don't make y'all sick. Before I change my camera angle. So, all right. I hope the week is going well. Hi there, my friend. So glad to have you, Lola. Appreciate you joining as always. It is a you know what? I just realized there it is. We'll pull up the. I don't know why it went away, but welcome everybody. This is the weekend paint party. I do this every weekend, typically on Saturday night, Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 Eastern, and 6, 5, etc. across the country. Thanks so much for joining me. I started teaching myself to paint a few months ago, and so this is a live stream where I explore that skill and expand that skill. And tonight we're actually going to jump outside of my comfort zone. So I'm excited to try something new. A few weeks ago, we did animals, which I had never done, and so that was the first kind of step outside my comfort zone. And tonight we're doing that again with kind of a close-up, single kind of focus subject. And so it is a holiday themed, as you can see behind me, a holiday reference photo. So I'm excited to get started on this. Also, we're going to learn a new technique, or I'm going to try to learn a new technique to create a blurred background, similar to how you see in this photo. So that's going to be an interesting challenge. I actually had to go look up how to do this. I had to do that. I'm learning only through YouTube videos and tutorials. So I am teaching myself to paint mostly by experience and some YouTube tutorials and videos. So my stream is really informal. You can pop in, pop out as you need to, say hello. The comments, wherever you're watching, you can chat with me in the comments. I'd love to engage with you, so please say hello. Let me know who's watching, where you're watching on. I live stream this primarily to YouTube, but also have streamed to Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch as well. So if you're here from Twitch, please definitely holler and say hello. All right, so we are going to get started in just a minute, and I will explain kind of the process, and we'll go from there. But I want to show you the final picture of what we did last weekend. Last weekend, I worked on a winter scene from my trip to Alaska 2 years ago, and got the basics, most of it done in the live stream, most of the basics. And then this week, I did some additional work, finished up the detail work. If you follow me on Instagram, which you can do, at Stephen E. Rice, Stephen with a V, middle initial E, and last name is Rice, R-I-C-E. You can follow, typically Instagram is where I'll post my progress photos, so you can see those outside of the YouTube live stream. Also, during the week, if I live stream in the evenings during the week after work, that happens on Instagram only. So that's an Instagram live stream. So if you're interested in following my journey, definitely follow me there. Okay, this is how we ended up with the Alaska painting. I am really pleased with how it turned out. Of course, there's always things you can improve, but for the level of experience I have, which is, I guess, we started May, so about 6, 8 months. I am pretty pleased with being able to actually get this, something that looks this good. The It was a lot of fun. It took a lot of work, kind of in the trees, to get the tree correct, and as well as the rocks. But I'm really happy with how that turned out. The kind of sun shining off the rocks, and then in the foreground here, the kind of shadows. But didn't turn out too bad. Probably one of the best composition wise and detail wise that I've done. So I was excited that that turned out so well. So I wanted to every stream I like to show you, because typically we don't get the full painting done. Just for kind of context, this painting probably took me about 8 hours all in. We did about 2.5 hours last weekend, and then throughout the week, at different points, I would put an hour or two of detail work into the painting. So obviously, too long for a single live stream, but I like to show you how those paintings end up. So this will go in the pile on my mantle. Thanks so much, Lola. I appreciate your kind words and encouragement as always. How is your work? Have you done any more acrylic work? I know you were gonna check that out or dive into that. Have you had an opportunity to do any more exploring in acrylic land? I am interested to see how that's going. All right. All right, all right. We have several people on the stream, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thanks so much for joining me. If you're just popping in, it's really informal. Please say hello. Feel free to comment and ask questions as we go. I really enjoy chatting with you as we go through the process. Okay, so for this painting, the first thing we're going to do is try to develop the blurry background of this photo. Let me actually, um, reminds me to put up the reference photo for you. So this is the photo we're gonna work on as a reference. This is you'll notice there is a watermark in the top, Jacqueline Baker. This photo is used with Jacqueline's permission. It is from a Facebook group specifically for artists by photographers who volunteer some of their best photos as reference photos for artists. So I really appreciate that. If you are watching on YouTube, you can find the link to Jacqueline's Facebook page on the description on YouTube. That way you can check out her amazing photography. I went and checked out additional stuff that she's done, and she's a great photographer. So thank you, Jacqueline, for allowing us to use this and for me to learn from this beautiful photo. All right, so this is what we're gonna work on today. When I look down, it's I know it looks weird here, but I'm looking at I'm looking at my monitor here, so I see what you're seeing when I look down here. When I look here, I have to look at myself, which isn't as um, nice. So no, we're going to try to recreate the blended background. So the first thing we need to do, Lola, not really. I have been looking at painting I'm working on, but not painting on it. I totally understand that, Miss Lola. I will sometimes walk by my paint room because the door out of my apartment is right on the other side of the wall, and I walk past and see the paint or the canvas sitting there and think, oh, I need to get in there and paint, and don't always get it done. Okay, this is, as you can tell, a smaller canvas than last time. This is an 8x10, just a small kind of throwaway canvas, but it'll give us a chance to explore and work on what we're doing. So what we want to do, there's a couple of techniques that I found to try to create that out of focus look with acrylics. The first is to put the different colors, like there's some red here behind the berries. Apparently there's other berries that are out of focus, and then there's other evergreen and lights that are out of focus. I am not going to, for this exercise, I am not going to try to create the light flares. I'm actually just going to try to focus on getting a reasonable blurry background. So I'm going to try that. You lay in the different colors in blocks and you kind of blend around them. And you do a couple of layers. Both of these techniques will take a couple of layers. So that's why I'm explaining kind of what we're going to do. And then we do the other technique. If that doesn't work, or I don't like how it's turning out because I have not practiced this at all. So you all will be seeing my first, unfortunately, my first attempts at this. So that will be interesting. Um, if that doesn't work, then we can do another technique, which is just a not as complex, but basically it's applying the paint and then just using a variety of brush strokes to blur the different colors of paint on the palettes, so, or on the canvas. So I am laying on my palette some paint. I will show you what I'm doing once I get this all kind of laid out. Okay. Okay. So on my palette, I have um, phthalo green, I have sap green, and then I have primary red, a naphthalene red, I'm not sure, and cad red. So there's various reds. That looks almost like an orange, but it's actually a primary red. It's just my lights. So those are the main colors, and those are probably the colors that we'll be using for most of the painting anyway when we get there. Let me put a little white as well. Maybe I will put some white on here if I can open it. All right, so let's take a look. What I'm going to try to do is I am going to try to apply the paint. Actually, I think I'm going to actually change my mind. Um, I drew out on the canvas kind of before I started, I kind of drew the composition, but we're going to end up covering that up. So, yeah, that's not going to work well. So, I see blue in the picture. Absolutely. Down kind of on my screen, this looks very blue, but up in your right hand corner, kind of down in here, it's almost a blue. Is that where you're seeing it, Lola? And then kind of up in here, the shadows are almost blue. Um, that's that is true. That is true. And I do have some ultramarine blue here, which will help us create that if we need some variety. So yeah, that it's sitting here if we need it. But yes, I see that as well. I think I'm going to just focus on the first stage is to focus on. Oops, I almost dipped my brush in my almost dipped my brush in my drinking glass. That would not be good. All right. So what we'll do is, although acrylics dry quick, they're not going to dry this quick. Um, so we'll get some color on the canvas, and then once we get it lay how we like, then we will um, then we will dry it with a hair dryer. Okay, so let me zoom y'all in so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just going to go with wide strokes here, just kind of all different angles. And the goal is to get this applied as quickly as possible. I'm mixing a little of the phthalo green with the sap green. So we'll have some here, dark corner, and we're just trying to blend it out and keep it soft. Actually, I want a little darker there. Just really blend, 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 blend. All different directions, and we'll turn our canvas sideways so that we get all kinds of different brush strokes. Right now, my main focus again is just cover this canvas a little bit, because we're going to do 2 layers, as I said. We just do different colors and we can be as creative as we want. So we're taking it a little light up here, and I'm blending down into the darker again. Okay, then we have our reds coming in. And it doesn't really matter what color we have in the back, because we're going to put 2 layers and we can always refine it. So there, we're going to come in, just blend that in. Up here we have, whoa, I took way too much white, but we have a lot of, I want it lighter up in here, so it turns into almost a mauve. Okay, so there we go, and then we get kind of a blurry, soft, hopefully, blurry, soft background. I am not angry with this as a first effort, just to get kind of some cover. All right. You can see clearly the brush strokes, especially on the bottom. The good thing is a lot of these brush strokes will be covered with the image. So the other thing I learned, let me take so I have a dry brush here, and I'm just going to kind of see if I can, I don't know if it'll work, we'll try it. I'm just going to try to blend some of the harder lines out with just a dry brush, barely touching the, no, it's not, it's working a little bit, but it's lifting a lot of that paint. So, ooh, we got a nasty paint. So the other thing is, by doing multiple layers, it will smooth our canvas, so when we go to paint, we'll have a smoother texture. Okay. Whoops. All right. You got to kind of call it good at some point, because otherwise you end up doing more damage than benefit. Okay. That's good for me. What do y'all think? Not too bad. Not too bad, huh? Let me hold it up so you can see. Whoops, maybe you can see. So we have kind of the reddish and the green fading in. So for the second layer, I think I want to get maybe some green with brown, and I want to do blend some so that it's a darker evergreen in the corners, and it blends up to the lighter here in the left hand corner. So um, I I I got the technique I like. The technique works for me. I'm moving y'all. Sorry about the kind of shakiness, but all right. So I liked my technique, and I feel fairly confident in that. I'm going to let it dry just a bit. I'm going to take some burnt umber, so a brown color. Burnt umber is kind of your typical kind of darker brown. I could use the cad blue or the ultramarine blue. Sorry, there's no cad blue. But that will, when mixed with the greens, will give us a nice kind of evergreen, or can give us a nice evergreen. So we're going to work on that. Then so yeah, and then we want to put some, and the thing is we can do more if we want to. Actually, I'm gonna try something kind of daring, y'all. I'm gonna see if we can take some yellow. Notice up in here, if you look on your, and right in here and right in here, you can see kind of shades of like a yellow in the green. If you take your um, ouch, if you look at your reference photo there. So I'm curious if, we'll see if it messes it up the whole thing, but I'm going to take a little, I'm actually going to put that in there. Just the hint of that kind of warm yellow there. A little bit, and with the green, and then I'm going to take a little bit of the blue, mix the green, see if we can add some, whoops, that's not working. We need some more green. I guess I should hold this up. So I'm making this kind of muddy, ugly color, but it's going to be pretty, I think, once I get it in. Okay. So let's, there we go. So there's some right into that. Again, we can do it because, and I'm going to, there's some up in here. The good thing is you can blend and create whatever you want. Okay, now, see? Now you can see those hard edges, but again, we're gonna blend that out of there. So, or put a double layer on. So, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Okay. Let me do this. I'm going to mute y'all so you don't hear loud buzzing in your ears. All right. And we are back. We are back. We are back. So, and our canvas is magically dry. Da da da. Let me go here. Okay. Now we're going to do another layer. And I'm going to raise this out of the way for now. All right. I'm going to start there. What I would like to do now is, whoops, one of my brushes is cheap. Well, a whole set is cheap, and look what happened. I took this brush. I've never used this one actually, and I took it out of the holder and ta-da! So I need to glue it back, but I'm just going to use it, I think, for a blending brush today. So we're going to take a smaller brush for our, well, maybe our, I want something really soft for our, for this. Let's see. Let's see if we can take just a tad of red. I'm brightening this up way bright up here, and I'm going to paint the edges of the, actually, let me take some red and make it kind of a pink. I'm going to paint the edges. I may have to do a third coat of this. Light. Then we're going to bring in more red. So it's so I got some hard, kind of hard strokes in there. That's the difficult part is just the figuring out how to blend the barely touching the canvas, blending the background. we'll see. Okay. I'm going to take just a minute to, pardon me, to paint this side so that I usually don't paint the side, but that way it looks like it just wraps around. I think that'll make it look better. Okay. Now we want to bring in the greens. See if we can blend up into them. Blend out some of those hard lines. Let's do this so we get broader. We're bringing the real dark green down here at the bottom. Whoops. Not very good painting with my right hand, so but we can do an edge here. Okay. I'm going to take turn it here. We're just going to paint this edge, make sure we get the edge. All right. I want to go back here. Beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Well, when I left the house today and it was 60 degrees, it didn't feel like Christmas, but I'm not going to complain. I am going to enjoy that. But yeah, perfect for Christmas. Yeah, Chase, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do some over the next week or two, some paintings that are seasonal, a little more seasonal and festive. And so I saw this reference photo and I thought, you know what? That is just about perfect. So, all right, y'all, I'm going to, hopefully I don't ruin this. We're going to try to lighten up this corner. Let's do this. I'm starting to get strips. No, that's not working. I don't like it. The white is streaking. Looks like there's a streak right through there, doesn't there? But it looks like that on the screen, but not here. So maybe it's just maybe that's something that's happening in through technology. Bring some more of the traditional, like a lighter green. I don't know how I'm going to fix this. Maybe. Problem is, I know what I did wrong. I'm going to have to do one more coat, y'all, because I think it's just not. Going to the red to brown, or the red to green, is just not working. It's just not working. At least not the way we want it to. It's a little too murky. Which might be okay once we had the sure the corner you have white and pink. Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm trying to decide. I kind of like the pink going to green. I think, want this darker, more evergreen, but in this case, I'm not necessarily trying to exactly duplicate the background. I'm trying to get the basic shading, but like the other background, there's a lot more red in here, like the red. So I'm not exactly trying to duplicate it, but I do want kind of that blurry. I want it to look blurry, but it's just not quite what I want yet. So I'm going to put y'all on mute just for a minute. I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to do one more coat, see if we can get it a little bit better. All right, I'm back. All right, I did Let's see. I wonder if I can, instead of, I don't know, let's see. Let's just see what we can do. Taking it pretty dark down here, just because I really want that deep kind of green there. And let me bring in some more, whoops, some more kind of a traditional, almost traditional Christmas green. Making a big choice here, y'all. But it might work. And it might give us the bridge we need between the green and the red. Just mixing the red with a little of the green I already had mixed, which gives us that purple that's beautiful and still rich and almost like a Victorian Christmas. Those rich violet, doesn't it? If I can blend there, and then turn it again to give us a kind of the different colors. Okay, now we'll take that violet and we'll just bring some white into it. Nope, that ain't gonna work. Nope, 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 nope. Y'all are seeing me learn right in front of your very eyes. You see the mistakes, you see the ugly, you see the pretty. You see it all, I guess. All right, I'm going back to my purple to kind of do here. Blend out that harsh line that the white created. This is not at all the reference photo, obviously. But, as Bob Ross says, we make happy little accidents. So, but I like it. I like at least the coordination between the, or the blending between the green and the lavender now. Okay. Now, I'm going to take, I think what I did was I didn't, Lola, you were right. It's kind of a lavender. At least that's what we're doing now. Now I'm going to quickly take a, see if I can, might be too much, but let's try something else. I don't know how this will work, but we're going to try it. Ah, that white. Every once in a while the white comes out. Damn it. Because it's in my brush and it. Although, don't think it's, if I blend it, it's not going to be a horrible thing because it, I have to remember that we're going to put the bright red over this. Now the question becomes, because there is no purple in the reference photo, I've been focusing so much on making the blending pretty, am I going to end up with something that's going to clash horribly with the bright red? I have a feeling I will. Lola, what do you think? What does your eye tell you? Is this, I think this purple is a little too much for, I don't think I like this at all. I mean, I love the color, but I don't think I like what's happening on the, don't think I like what's happening in regards to it. In regards to it with a bright red. Because I think if we put bright red on this, then it's going to... You think it will look good? You know what? Let us just... You know what? Nothing, no one but us has to see this, right? No one has to know if it's really horrific in the end. We can always throw it out and paint over it. So, yeah, let's just see what happens. I do want to lighten up. I wonder if I could create like a okay, have kind of this purplish pink. Wonder if I could do that. Oh, I lost my feed. See if it comes back. There it is. Sorry about that. We'll put a pink in here. Blend that in. Whoops. That's a good suggestion. What I should have done is just maybe left the background green and white, or you know, like a white color. We'll see. All right, well, we're gonna, the video I watched of these techniques is like, oh, you have to practice. I actually like what I had first when I said I didn't like it and painted over it. But we are going to call this good for now. Whoops. I would try to make the berries bright pink instead of red. Oh, good idea. Yeah, I'll try to use the palette that's already here. That's a good idea. Maybe so that they're more, yeah, good idea. All right. Well, it's not perfect, but I think when we get something on there, it will be better. One last time, I'm going to mute you and dry the background. Be right back. All right, we spent 45 minutes on background, so let us jump right in. Actually, this is probably a good time to zoom out a bit. And okay, so I realized that when I paint, I sometimes go and go and go and never take a break. So then my back hurts because I'm old like that. So I'm going to take a break. Plus, let me show you something. Look at how lovely that watercolor is. So I am going to get a refill of this water that's clean and drinkable. Refill this that then will be clean to, not honey, but clean to reuse. And I will come right back. Take a minute and stretch if you'd like. Get a snack, get a hot chocolate, get a hot toddy, whatever you'd like. And I will see you in just a second once I clear this water. Okay, I am back. And we are going to now kick off the second half of the stream where we are going to put in the branches. I think that's going to be the first step is setting the branches. I think I'm going to take your advice, Lola, and make these berries more pink, um, pink leaning, especially in the highlights. And so the branches, I think I'm going to make kind of a burgundy, a deep red burgundy color that stand out on this kind of lavender burgundy. Not well, it's not burgundy. It's a lavender. So I think a burgundy there with kind of the pink berries would look good because it's almost burgundy in the actual reference photo. So we'll try that. I'll try to lay in the branches first, and then put in the berries around it, and we'll just take it one step at a time. Let's see what we can do. I'll move y'all here. Hold on to your lunch. Don't get motion sick, everybody. I'll zoom in for you. Okay, let's see what we can do. Okay. Let's see, what brush do I want to use? I think I'll start with my little round filbert brush. We shall see. So I'm gonna take the red I already had up here, put it here. That's a bright red. And then what we want to do is take, oh, it's gone. I'm going to get some more of the greens. I'm going to put the greens back out on the palette. I used them all. So put some green here. What we want to end up with is, well, and here's some lavender. Want to turn this into kind of a good, nice, deep burgundy. So if we have green and red, we should get a purple, but we want a little burgundy. Let's see if we put some blue in there. Can we get do we just get a gray muddy color, or we get a deeper purple? Yeah, so I'm going to add a little more red, because we definitely want kind of a red tone. I want a dark red tone. Oops, sorry. All right, this is, I think, what I'm going for. It looks light on there, but it is a dark kind of burgundy. Let's see what it looks like on the canvas. Okay. Just gonna try to do some basic lines. Basic composition. This is, we want it to end right in here, so let's bring it down. Okay. All right, I'm bringing in another brush that is a thinner round brush, and I'm gonna try to do this I'm now trying to mix a darker tone of this red so that I can bring this. No, it's not, but that's all right. We have the basic outline of this branch. Put little there's little nubs on these. I don't know if this is, it's not really a holly branch, I don't think. I don't know what kind of branches these are. However, we'll kind of, maybe we can do a nice color. Thanks, Lola. Yeah, I think it might work, especially if we can keep the berries bright and light. It's going to be a different, which is kind of cool. I haven't done most of the work I've done up till now over the last 6 months has been an attempt to replicate a picture because I was just really trying to develop some skill. But this is kind of fun because it's derivative, obviously, but it's more actually just using it as a reference. So it's kind of fun to like I said, Bob Ross, a happy little accident where I'm like, oh, I don't like this background, but and it may still end up really tragic. But we'll see. Who knows? I was thinking of putting on Christmas music or holiday music as I did this, but then I realized that YouTube we could listen to it, but then YouTube would block the video after I had uploaded it for copyright purposes, and so then the video would not be available for average the appreciation of the interweb. I don't know that the interweb really appreciates my rambling, but I do, and I appreciate you all appreciating my rambling. Okay. All right, this is our, now we have our basic composition. We'll see what we can make out of this. What can we make? All right, all right. I think I'll just go right in and so you can look. Let me back out a little bit so you can kind of see the composition of the main branches, and then I just basically have to go and put on the berries. So the big thing is gonna be can I get the right color of berries? So let's figure it out. Let's see what we can do. I'm gonna zoom you in again so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Whoops. I wonder if I can actually move my camera over so you can look more direct on my over my shoulder a bit. Let me, and if I turn this a little more, maybe you can see that a little better. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right. Y'all will, I am a little paranoid about our current health situation with COVID, as I imagine many of us are. But I tend to lose my marbles a little bit, and I'm overly cautious, and I've basically been locked down outside of work. I just kind of locked myself away since March. And yesterday I got a really crippling headache. And I had painted in the evening, but I just was really struggling. And then I woke up at like 3 in the morning with this horrible headache. And of course, in my head, I'm like, COVID. And then I'm thinking about all the things I'm like planning in my head. I'm like, okay, I'll get through this. I'm going to have to just focus on really, taking care of myself, taking a lot of vitamin C and zinc and vitamin D and try to sleep. And, oh, I hope I don't have this headache for days. And I was just waiting, sure that the fever was coming and all this horrible stuff in my head. And I took some Tylenol, finally fell back asleep about 6 a.m. because then I couldn't sleep. And the headache went away. All that drama in my head. And I'm glad that I don't regret being overly cautious, but yeah, isn't it crazy how we make things in our minds really kind of, they create so much pain and anxiety and drama before we really need to actually experience it. That's why I paint. One of the reasons, because it just kind of relaxes. Okay, so you'll notice that what I'm doing, so look at on my palette, I brought over, this was the purple burgundy that I used for the stalks, and I brought over some of the red and I brought in some white to make a pink. I think this pink is what I'm going to use for the highlights on the berries. So I'm doing a like a burgundy, a lighter burgundy red for the berries, just to see how it goes, so I can get the basic format of the berries, and then and lay them in the right place, and then I can go back to each berry and kind of put in the highlights or lowlights. So that's my plan of attack. And we'll see how it turns out. But I want to get the get the berries on the canvas. Because if I can get those in the next 10-15 minutes pretty much on, then I can always do the detail work later. But then we feel like we got somewhere. If that makes sense. The only odd thing right now is like where you have the two berries, and once I get up in here where there's all these berries, kind of up in here where there's all these berries on top of each other, that's going to be the hard part because it's all the same color essentially until I actually go in and put in the detail. That's going to be another learning experience for me, how to make these berries look not one dimensional, so they look like they're three-dimensional and they're kind of on top and around each other. But we shall see. We shall see. No? One of my goals by next Christmas, when I have had a year and a half of experience, or sooner, I want to be able to do paintings that are good enough for purchase so that I can do like auctions, because I would love to do um, like charity auctions during the month of December. Wouldn't that be cool to actually have enough and have enough of a following, like have enough people? I'm going to be working over the next 6 months or so to um, build up the following of people interested in art, whether they're amateur artists or just interested in my process or whatever. I want to get a group of people who at least semi regularly watch the live stream and are interested in it, because I just think that would be so cool if we had like, 20, 30, 40 people watching. We usually have, well, like right now there are 4 people, but usually it's between 6 and 8 off and on that pop in and out, depending. So, and that's just with like my own network of, mostly friends and people that I know or that know me either on social media or just in life that are interested in what I'm doing. So I I have a feeling I could definitely we could get more people. Whoops, I just realized every time I lean down I put my head right in where you all get the front end of my head. Sorry about that. Well, this is kind of fun. You never know what you can do till you try, huh? All right, so let me show you a little closer kind of what we have. Whoops. There we are. So you can see the shapes of the berries start to come in, and then they'll really pop off the page or the off the canvas once I start putting definition in. So let's just keep going and see if we can get all the berries or most of them put on in the next half hour. Okay, okay. All right, all right. I'm being goofy tonight, sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm in a good mood. Life is good. I am blessed and fortunate. Well, in the South, we say we're blessed. The South is very churchy, and so we're all blessed down here. We have a blessed day, and I love the South for that. It's a neat, got a neat culture in that regard. It's very community focused, and I remember the first time when I moved to the South about 8 years ago, and when the first time I went through a McDonald's or Burger King or something like that, and somebody said, "This lady's like, here's your change, hun." First time I was called hun, I was just like, "Oh, that's odd." And now I don't even think of it. If somebody doesn't, then I'm kind of like, "Oh, that person must be having a bad day." Or if I sometimes when I travel and you get used to kind of that southern hospitality, not overly familiar, but like people are just very amenable and friendly and use it and are that way, like in their language and in their demeanor. And so you go other places and it's not that people aren't or unfriendly, it's just that they don't call you hun. And so yep, the South is a nice place, especially this time of year when it's 60 degrees instead of 6 or 16. some of you up north, I know, get. Although we've had like the evenings. I mean, my heater's running right now, but the last few evenings we've had some. We have had some chilly nights. It has been in the. I think it was down in the 20s this week. At night, so it got pretty chilly. But then now during the day we're doing pretty well, so that's kind of nice. Okay. Now there's oops, I messed that up. We'll just have to make it a bigger berry then. Okay. Wonder if I zoom in anymore if it's going to be too blurry. Is that too blurry for y'all? It's pretty blurry, isn't it? Maybe like that. Just so you can kind of see the detail work I'm doing. So if you're looking at the reference, there's kind of these berries that are partially on this branch and then partially on this branch. So we have all these berries that come, and there's these 2 or 3 that are, I think, actually on the end of this branch. So that's how I'm going to paint them. Doesn't really matter because that's how they're perceived. So they're all going to be one big lump until I divide them, which will be the challenge, won't it? Okay. I'm going to put an extra berry in here that's not on the reference, just because I think my there's something strangely meditative and relaxing about this. Just doing the same design, it's almost like my brain can't really check out, but it kind of just goes into auto drive or auto I'm going to move that so you can see more of. Okay. So right, let's see how much we can get done in the next 10 minutes. Anybody have any new Christmas music you've been listening to, or holiday music? Is there anything new that has caught your eye that's out now? Anybody released any? Just curious what you all are listening to during this festive holiday season. I always wait till the day after Thanksgiving to begin to decorate my home as well as listen to holiday music, because I know by the time we get to the end, I will be worn out with it. So I try to take a break whenever I can, and not take a break, but give myself enough time to listen so that, oh no, my hand or something, or my, oh well, we'll have to figure that out. Need to stretch my hands so I don't get carpal tunnel. Periodically take a, well, that's really close. Stretch, 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 stretch. It's so funny because I realized like I can disappear into this um, hobby for hours, and I enjoy it so much that I forget that I'm sitting just doing the same thing for hours. So I almost need like timers that will go off often and tell me that it's time to take a break. I need to stretch my legs and my back and all right, about 4 more minutes before I take a break for the evening. I'm actually going to put maybe that's how I can fix this. Little mistake I made, a happy little mistake. Maybe if I can draw a decent berry. I'm going to put a stalk right through the center here because I think I missed it. When I was putting in the sticks, there's one that kind of goes up through here. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit this blue and brown. Red. I'm going to create that. There we go. 2 more minutes. Can we get a couple more berries in? Let's do it. As we wrap up the live stream tonight, make sure that you're following me on YouTube so that you can catch all of these live streams pretty much every Saturday night. We are here doing our thing, and I am learning new skills, attempting new feats of artistry, and you get to watch the good, the bad, the ugly. You can also follow me on Instagram at Stephen E. Rice, Stephen with a V, middle initial E, last name Rice. Hi there, Bob. Good to see you. Hope you all are doing well. Just about to wrap up tonight. Not quite done with this picture, but we'll add some detail work later. Make sure that you are connected. Like I said, on Instagram and YouTube is the best and easiest way to keep track of all the live streams. If you click the little bell on my account, you will be notified by the great Google gods whenever I go live. Typically Saturday nights, though. That sounds good, Bob G. Thanks so much. Have a great nightcap. I think you're right. It's about 40 more berries to go. So we will get there eventually. Everyone have a great evening, and I will see you next week. Be looking, because I may do a different time next week, because a friend of mine is hosting a virtual annual holiday party. Well, it's not virtual annually, but this year it's virtual at 7 Central. So I may do an earlier stream earlier in the day. So be watching out for that. And I'll make that decision pretty quick this week and put it out on my social. So may do that earlier, maybe like a 5 to 7 p.m. Central stream, but we'll see. We'll just see. I need to stop because we have maxed our time. Alrighty, everybody. Let me just say a very quick thank you for joining me on the stream tonight. I appreciate you hanging with me and chatting with me. It's always great to have you all following this journey. I'm going to continue doing different things, especially in the next year. I really want to get into painting a lot more animals, some flowers, and really stretch my skill, develop my skill level beyond just landscapes. That's kind of how I've gone from so far. I did landscapes because that was the thing I was most interested in, but I'm really interested in doing some more animals. Those were fun. And then I think some flowers, and then eventually I want to try also some different techniques. I want to do some abstract paintings, as well as doing some painting with using the palette knife as opposed to a brush. So I think that'll be interesting. I'll get a different experience and learn some new things. So, but I feel like I have the fundamentals of like mixing colors and things like composition. So that is what is coming down the pike for us. Again, thank you so much for joining me this evening, and you all have a great evening. I will catch you next weekend.